Have you ever felt like something invisible was guiding everything? Like no matter how random life seems, there's a strange rhythm beneath it all? Maybe it's the way stars spin in galaxies, or how your heart beats without you thinking. Maybe it's how certain moments in life feel meant to happen, as if reality itself follows a hidden blueprint. What if it does? What if everything, from galaxies to thoughts, obeys one secret pattern? This is not fantasy, it's science, and it's closer to the truth than we ever imagined. Look around you, everything, from the smallest atom to the biggest galaxy, is not chaos. It's organized, structured, predictable yet mysterious. If you zoom in far enough into anything, a leaf, a snowflake, your fingerprint, you start to see shapes repeat. Spirals, ratios, patterns that appear over and over again. The Greeks called it the golden ratio. Modern science calls it phi 1.618. It's the number that appears everywhere. In the swirl of a hurricane, in the shell of a snail, in the curve of galaxies light years wide, and even in the proportions of your own body. Coincidence? Maybe. But if everything natural, cosmic, and human follows the same ratio, then maybe coincidence is the code. Imagine reality like a computer simulation, but not in the cliché sci-fi way. Not we're in a computer, but we're inside a structure of repeating information. Everything that exists is made of information. Physicists say it. Mathematicians prove it. Even energy and matter at their core are just vibrations following rules. Think about it. Atoms don't just decide to form molecules. They follow instructions coded in the laws of physics. Every electron knows exactly what to do, every photon travels at the same speed, and your DNA, the code of life, is literally written with 4 letters. It's not random. It's language, a code written not by chance, but by the universe itself. Now here's where it gets weird. Have you ever thought of someone, and then your phone lights up with their message? Or maybe you were thinking about a song, and the next moment it starts playing somewhere nearby? Science calls it coincidence, but psychologist Carl Jung called it synchronicity. Meaningful coincidences that have no apparent cause. But what if they do have a cause? What if synchronicity is a tiny peek into that hidden code, where your thoughts, emotions, and the universe are actually linked by invisible patterns of energy? Just like gravity pulls on matter, maybe thoughts pull on possibility. Quantum physics already hints at this. At the smallest level, the observer changes what they observe. Your attention, your focus, can literally alter the outcome of an experiment. So, what if your mind, your choices, are threads in the same code that the universe runs on? Have you ever seen a fractal? It's a shape that repeats itself infinitely, no matter how much you zoom in or out. A coastline, a tree branch, lightning, all fractals. The universe loves repetition, because repetition is stability. In fact, the universe itself may be one enormous fractal, a never-ending loop of creation and destruction, matter and energy repeating across scales we can't comprehend. The structure of your brain's neurons looks eerily similar to the structure of the universe's galaxies. Different scales, same pattern. It's as if the universe copied and pasted its design from the infinite cosmos right into your own mind. So what if your thoughts aren't just in the universe? What if they are the universe thinking through you? There's a theory in physics called the principle of emergence that says complexity arises from simplicity. One rule, repeated enough, can create everything. Just like a single line of computer code can create an entire simulation, a single equation may underlie all of existence. Some scientists believe this hidden law is mathematical symmetry. Others call it the holographic principle, that everything in the universe is a projection of deeper information stored elsewhere. Imagine reality as a vast cosmic 3D movie, and everything you see, feel, and live through is being rendered from a hidden layer of code you can't see. You're not outside of it, you are part of it. A self-aware pattern of energy trying to understand itself. Here's something to think about. What if realizing this code changes how it interacts with you? Every time you become aware of something, from your heartbeat to your breathing to your thoughts, you gain a little control over it. Maybe awareness itself is the key to hacking the code. Because if the universe is information, then attention is the programmer. Have you ever noticed how your life seems to follow the things you focus on most? You think of negativity, and somehow more of it finds you. You focus on opportunities, and suddenly doors open. Coincidence? Or maybe your consciousness is aligning itself with the deeper rhythm of the universe, tuning itself to the right frequency of that hidden code. We live thinking that randomness rules us. But what if the truth is the opposite? What if every heartbreak, every victory, every small event that shaped your life wasn't random at all, but perfectly timed in a system far beyond what we can see? What if every second of your life is an expression of a universal intelligence writing itself through you? You might be more than just human. You might be the code learning what it means to exist. And maybe, just maybe, when you finally understand that hidden pattern, you stop fearing chaos. You stop running from uncertainty, because you realize it's all connected. It always was. And that connection is the code that controls everything. You've probably felt it before, that strange moment when the world feels aware, like reality itself just noticed you. Maybe it was the timing of something, a sign, a dream, or that moment you thought of someone seconds before they called you. It's easy to brush it off. Coincidence, luck, maybe just your imagination. But what if it wasn't? What if the universe doesn't just exist around you? What if it exists with you? What if, right now, you're in a conversation with reality, and you've been speaking its language your whole life, without even realizing it? Let's start simple. When you smile at someone, what usually happens? They smile back. It's energy returning energy. Action meeting reaction. Now think about that on a universal scale. If every atom in your body came from the stars, if every breath you take is recycled from ancient matter, then you're literally made of the same stuff as everything else. So when you think, when you feel, when you intend, you're not just talking to yourself. You're sending ripples through the field that connects everything. Modern physics has a name for this. The quantum field. It's not a metaphor. It's a real, measurable sea of invisible energy that fills all space. Every particle, from photons to electrons, is a wave in that field. So, when you think of your thoughts as just in your head, you're missing the bigger picture. Your brain doesn't create consciousness, translates it, like a radio receiving signals. Your mind tunes into the infinite information around you. And when you change your signal, your focus, your emotions, you change what you receive back. It's easy to dismiss this as spiritual talk, right? But science has been catching up. In the early 20th century, physicists noticed something strange. When they looked at particles, the particles changed behavior. When they didn't look, the results changed again. It was called the observer effect, and it broke every rule of logic at the time. How can something know it's being watched? But that's what the quantum world does. The act of observation, awareness, affects matter. Now think about it. If your awareness literally changes the building blocks of reality, what else might it be capable of? What if your focus, your attention, acts like a cursor in the code of the universe, choosing what line to execute next? When you worry, you're feeding one possibility. When you believe, you feed another. And the universe executes whichever you keep your energy on the longest. Imagine waking up one morning, and instead of thinking, today's going to be stressful, you think, what if today flows easily, just for once? And as the day unfolds, you notice little things start to align. The right people appear, traffic clears, a small problem solves itself. Coincidence again? Maybe. But when this starts happening repeatedly, you begin to realize the world isn't just happening to you. It's responding to you, because reality is not a wall. It's a mirror. It reflects your most consistent signal. Fear in, chaos out. Peace in, clarity out. Love in, connection out. Not instantly, not magically, but precisely through the same hidden algorithm that forms galaxies and thoughts alike. That's the hidden code. Not some supernatural trick, but the natural law of resonance. You attract what matches your inner frequency. The universe doesn't judge, it just reflects. Everything vibrates. This isn't philosophy, it's physics. From atoms to planets, everything oscillates with energy. When Nikola Tesla said, "If you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration," he wasn't being poetic. He was summarizing reality itself. When you feel gratitude, love, or excitement, you vibrate at higher frequencies. Your heart rate, brain waves, and electromagnetic field all shift measurably. And here's where it gets mind-bending. Scientists have discovered that your heart's electromagnetic field extends several feet outside your body, interacting with others around you. So when you walk into a room, you don't just enter it, you influence it. You've done this before. You felt a room that just felt heavy, or met someone who lit up the whole space. That's vibration. That's data exchange at a level deeper than words. And the more you align your vibration, your inner state, with the reality you want, the more it begins to show up in your outer world. It's not wishful thinking. It's wave interference physics wrapped in emotion. Let's revisit one of science's strangest experiments, the double-slit experiment. When scientists fired particles through two tiny slits, they expected them to behave like tiny bullets. Instead, they behaved like waves, creating interference patterns. But when someone observed them, they acted like particles again. It's as if the universe asked, "Oh, you're watching? Okay. I'll behave how you expect." This experiment proved something revolutionary. Reality doesn't exist in a fixed state. It exists in a state of potential until consciousness interacts with it. Now pause and think about your life. Every dream you have, every fear, every plan exists in potential, until you focus on it, until you act, until you believe. Then, that wave of potential collapses into form, into the experience you call your life. That's not philosophy, that's physics. You're collapsing reality moment by moment, just by being aware of it. Let's come back to something closer, your brain. Inside your skull are about 86 billion neurons. Each neuron connects to thousands of others, forming trillions of pathways. That's more connections than there are stars in the Milky Way. And here's the thing, your brain doesn't just store memories, predicts reality. Every second, it takes the information it knows and tries to fill in the blanks about what's coming next. You're not seeing the world, you're seeing your brain's best guess of it. That means your beliefs, your inner code, literally shape what you perceive. Two people can walk through the same world and live in two completely different realities because their internal codes are different. So the code of the universe isn't only out there. It's inside you. Your thoughts, emotions, and expectations are lines of code that shape how the simulation renders around you. Maybe you've asked this: if reality runs on a code, who wrote it? Some say God. Some say the universe itself, a self-writing system of infinite feedback. Others say consciousness, us, are the authors. And maybe all of them are right, because consciousness might not be in the universe, it might be the universe. Every galaxy, every atom, every thought, just one fractal expression of awareness looking at itself through different lenses. You are the observer and the observed, the creator and the creation. You are both the question and the answer in an endless loop of discovery. Now, this is where it gets personal. Have you ever made a decision that felt impossible to explain? Like you just knew what to do? That inner knowing, intuition, is not random. It's data your conscious mind can't yet see. Your subconscious processes 11 million bits of information per second. Your conscious mind? Only about 40. So intuition is the deeper code whispering the truth long before logic catches up. And when you follow that whisper, life starts aligning in ways you can't logically explain. That's not magic, that's alignment. That's you syncing up with the algorithm that's been guiding you all along. Sometimes, though, the code glitches. You've seen it: déjà vu, repeating numbers, strange coincidences. Moments that make you pause and think, wait, haven't I been here before? Science says déjà vu happens when the brain's memory systems cross signals between the present and the past. But what if, just for a second, the simulation rendered two versions of the same frame? A small slip in the matrix, where you catch a glimpse of the deeper layer beneath the illusion of time. It's not proof, but it's a hint, a gentle nudge from the universe saying, there's more to this than you think. Let's imagine this differently. You're not separate from the universe. You're a node in a vast network, a consciousness connected to all others. Every thought you have sends a tiny vibration into the field. Every emotion uploads data. And the universe, this infinite intelligence, responds instantly. When you meditate, when you pray, you're not talking to something out there. You're tuning into the Wi-Fi of existence itself. Sometimes the signal is weak, lost in noise and fear. But when you quiet the static, you begin to receive downloads, ideas, inspiration, intuition. That's not imagination. That's information, traveling through the cosmic internet of consciousness. Look back at your life, at the jobs that didn't work out, the heartbreaks that crushed you, the coincidences that saved you. At the time, it all looked random, even unfair. But now, when you connect the dots, it forms a pattern, doesn't it? That's how the code reveals itself backwards. Only when you've lived it do you realize it was all perfectly timed. So maybe, right now, the confusion you're in isn't chaos. It's the code rearranging itself to align you with something you can't see yet. And that realization that everything might have meaning is what starts to wake you up. You start noticing things differently. Colors feel deeper. Time feels slower. You stop reacting and start noticing. Because now you're aware that you're aware. You're no longer lost in the movie. You're watching it from behind the camera. That's awakening. The moment the observer remembers it's the creator. And once you see the code, you can never unsee it. You start to play with it, testing, observing, smiling when things align. You realize the universe isn't testing you. It's communicating. Every challenge is a riddle. Every delay, a calibration. Every miracle, a reminder. You're part of something infinite. And maybe that's the real secret. The code doesn't want to control you. It wants you to remember it. To see the beauty, the balance, the intelligence in every moment. Because the moment you remember, you stop fighting it. You start flowing with it. You start living like the universe itself is guiding you, because it always was. And that's when life starts to feel effortless. Not perfect, not easy, but deeply meaningful. Because you've found it, the hidden code that controls everything. And now it's listening to you. If everything you've heard so far is true, if reality reacts to your awareness, then there's a question you can't avoid anymore. Who's really in control here? Are we just pieces inside a pre-written code, or are we the programmers? There's a point in life when something shifts. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start whispering, what is this teaching me? That single question is the first line of new code. Because suddenly, you're not the victim of the program anymore. You're the observer, reading it from above. Every disappointment becomes a data point. Every heartbreak becomes an instruction. Every failure, a line of debugging that leads you closer to truth. That's when you start waking up inside the system. You begin seeing patterns, synchronicities, numbers, timing, energy shifts, the quiet whispers of the algorithm saying, yes, you're beginning to see how it works. And that's when you realize you were never just living in the code. You were always meant to rewrite it. Everything you repeat becomes code. Every word you say to yourself, every emotion you relive, every belief you hold without question, is a script that reality obeys. When you say, I'm unlucky, I'm always anxious, nothing ever works for me, you're not describing reality, you're commanding it. Because the universe doesn't respond to words. It responds to frequency. And emotions are the language of frequency. Say, I'm happy, but feel sad, nothing changes. Feel happy first, the world shifts. That's why your emotions are sacred. They are the access keys to the matrix of creation. Change how you feel, and you literally rewrite the electromagnetic blueprint that tells the universe what to render next. That's why healing isn't just emotional work. It's reprogramming the system. Inside your mind, every thought is electrical. Every emotion is magnetic. Together, they form an electromagnetic field, a signature that broadcasts your personal frequency. And here's the secret most people miss. Reality doesn't speak English, Urdu, or any human language. It speaks resonance. When your thoughts and emotions align, you're broadcasting a clear signal. The code hears it, matches it, and mirrors it back. But when your thoughts say one thing and your emotions another, your signal cancels itself out. That's why manifestation sometimes feels broken. It's not that it doesn't work. It's that you're sending two opposite instructions. Imagine trying to tune a radio while switching stations every second. All you hear is static. But when you hold one clear frequency, belief and emotion unified, the static clears, and the song begins to play. Now let's go deeper. In 1982, a physicist named Alain Aspect made a discovery that changed science forever. He proved that when two particles interact, they remain connected, even when separated by light years. Change one and the other reacts instantly. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. We now call it quantum entanglement. What it means is simple but profound. Distance is an illusion. Everything is connected everywhere all the time. So when you send love, hope, or fear, you're not just sending a feeling. You're sending information into the shared field of consciousness. And that field responds. That's why collective meditation experiments have shown measurable changes in crime rates, weather patterns, even healing. Our minds are not isolated. They are entangled nodes in one universal mind. So when you elevate your frequency, you're not just changing your life, you're changing the data stream of humanity itself. Have you noticed that once you become aware of something, you start seeing it everywhere? You think of a symbol, a phrase, a number, and suddenly it appears again and again. That's not random. That's pattern recognition inside the code. Reality speaks in symbols, not words. It uses repeating, numbers, coincidences, and dreams as its way of whispering back to you. So next time you see those patterns, don't dismiss them. Pause. Ask quietly, what are you trying to show me? Because awareness itself is the key that unlocks the next layer. Every time you notice something consciously, you upgrade your level of access to the code. You become more of a participant and less of an NPC. Now here's the part that bends reality the most. The universe might actually be a simulation, but not in the way sci-fi movies think. Not a computer made of metal, but a living, conscious simulation made of energy, light, and information. Every cell in your body is computing life. Every photon is a packet of data. And your consciousness is both the player and the processor. You are generating reality from within reality, a recursive loop of creation. So maybe the question isn't, is life a simulation? But rather, who's running it? And the most haunting answer might be, you are. Because consciousness, when awakened, doesn't just play the game. It starts to design the game itself. In the quantum field, nothing exists as solid matter until observed. But when you focus on a possibility with emotion and intention, you give it structure. You collapse the wave. You birth reality. This isn't a metaphor. This is how energy becomes experience. It's like painting with attention. Whatever you hold in your awareness long enough takes form. That's why visualization, meditation, and emotion are the ultimate creation tools. They reprogram your brain, reshape your frequency, and realign your external world to the vibration you emit. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And the moment you start acting like the version of yourself that already lives your desired reality, the code updates. Reality synchronizes. People, events, and coincidences rearrange like puzzle pieces. It's not luck. It's physics responding to consciousness. Let's ground this again. Have you ever noticed that when you truly decide something, not just wish but decide, life suddenly starts shifting around that choice? The right people appear, opportunities open, barriers dissolve. That's not delusion, it's focused collapsing potential. Your brain begins scanning for matching data, filtering millions of possibilities until it constructs a version of reality that aligns with your dominant emotion and expectation. You're literally sculpting reality through the lens of consciousness. And when you stay in that vibration long enough, reality bends around it. That's why self-belief isn't just motivation. It's manifestation physics. If you zoom out far enough, past the galaxies, past the atoms, past time itself, you'll notice something profound. Everything follows a pattern. From DNA spirals to galaxy arms, from weather systems to neural networks, the same geometry repeats, the Fibonacci sequence. The golden ratio, that's the universe's signature, the blueprint of creation. And you are built on it. Your body, your heartbeat, your breath, all mirror the same sacred mathematics. You are not in the code. You are the code. A living equation written in light and consciousness. And that means when you live out of harmony, you feel chaos. But when you align with truth, everything flows because you've synced with the mathematics of existence itself. If all of this feels overwhelming, don't worry. You don't need quantum physics to live consciously. You just need to remember 3 things. 1. Awareness. Notice your thoughts, emotions, and patterns. They're the raw code. 2. Intention. Direct your focus not on what you fear, but what you choose. 3. Emotion. Feel the reality you want. Now, the emotion activates the code. Every time you feel joy, gratitude, or love, you're running high-frequency commands. You're literally writing new data into the field. That's why ancient teachings always said, "Be still and know." They weren't talking about religion, they were talking about programming reality through consciousness. Here's the twist: the code was never hiding from you. It was hiding as you. Every choice, every thought, every heartbreak was the code teaching itself to become aware. The universe isn't something outside you to control. It's something inside you, remembering itself through your experiences. And the moment you realize that, you stop chasing meaning and start being it. If you could hear the code speak, it would say this: I was never against you. I was always waiting for you to see me. Every challenge was a doorway. Every pain a password. You had the key the entire time. Right now, something massive is happening across humanity. People are waking up. They're realizing they're not powerless. They're not trapped. They are creators, small fragments of infinite consciousness learning to code reality through awareness. Every time someone heals their trauma, they clean corrupted data from the system. Every time someone forgives, they restore order to the field. Every time someone loves, they expand the program's intelligence. We are the update, the next version of consciousness learning to remember itself. That's the true awakening. So now that you know all this, there's only one question left. What will you do with it? You can go back to living like life is random, or start experimenting with it. Test the code. Shift your thoughts. Notice what changes. You don't have to believe everything. Just observe. Because once you see even one moment of alignment, you'll never forget it. You'll realize you were never at the mercy of reality. Reality was always listening to you. Every night, when you dream, you create entire worlds in your mind, with people, emotions, even light and sound. If your mind can do that while you sleep, what do you think it's doing right now while you're awake? Maybe life isn't something happening to you. Maybe it's a dream you and the universe are co-creating one thought at a time. And every time you wake up to that fact, the dream becomes a little clearer, a little more yours. So tonight, look up at the sky, feel the hum behind existence, and whisper quietly, I remember, because the moment you remember, the code responds, the universe listens, and reality bends, just enough to let the light in.